Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Ummahpreneur podcast. And my guest today is Suaad Hamam. Suaad, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the podcast.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm really excited to kind of share your story with our listeners today. And for those who don't know Suad, she is the founder of Hazel Apparel, and Hazel Apparel is the world's first modest medical wear brand. So, a really interesting and unique product that she's created here. And this is a product where she really wants to help healthcare workers essentially wear modest dress while still being in uniform, which is super cool, mashallah. And all of these products are carefully designed to combine style, comfort at an affordable price. So I want to talk about how you even came up with this idea. What inspired you to create this? Like, are you yourself a nurse? Are you not? I was so curious when I saw this. So walk
Yeah.
me through what even brought up the idea. Why did you think of creating this?
Yeah, so it all started when I moved to Canada in 2011, and I decided to pursue my career in dental hygiene. So first I was in school, and this is where it all started.
Yeah.
When they told us, okay, now it's time to go to clinic, you have to be ready in uniform next week. I was like, oh my God, what I'm gonna wear.
Yeah.
So I started to look on the internet, and all what I found was short sleeved, like what everyone else wears. So, okay, that was the only option available at that time. So I decided, okay, so I'm gonna size up and
Yeah.
wear another shirt under it. But going to the clinic, it was really uncomfortable, and I always felt like outdated, and all the other girls were looking like cute and nice, and
Right.
I always felt like uncoordinated at some point, and sometimes it was too hot when it was stressful period. So it all started back then, but it was only I idea when I realized that okay, there's a gap in the market. But at that point, I was only a student struggling between my house, my college. I was not thinking about starting this business at that time, but I was always talking about this idea in my head. And yeah, this is how it came out of my own need for that thing.
Okay. And
Yeah.
are you still a dental hygienist right
I
now?
am I am a dental hygienist, but right now I'm full time mother and a business owner. I'm not
Okay,
working as a hygienist now.
mashallah. So you're working full time on this business right now. You've ended up just going full time into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you to go from, someone who was working as a dental hygienist to then going full time into launching your own business? Did you even see yourself as an entrepreneur growing up? Did you think you would ever make that transformation when you were going through school?
Actually, it all started during the pandemic because I had like my second son before the pandemic. I had my third son like the beginning of the pandemic. So I was still at home in my maternity leave.
Yeah.
And then everyone was at home, me, my husband, and the kids, like everyone else. And I took that opportunity to sit down with my husband and talk about the idea of this business. We started sketching some drawings. We started like thinking, oh my God, okay, then how many designs, how many pants,
Yeah.
which colors are we gonna do? And
Yeah.
after we thought about all these things, we started contacting manufacturers, and then we started receiving some samples. We wanted to make sure that it is like matching our values and what we wanted for the quality and for the design as well. After receiving, we contacted about like 4 to 5 factories. Then we decided to go with the one that we are in right now. After that, after placing the bulk order, it was the time to work on the social media or on the creating the website, and then the whole thing started. But I had zero experience with business. So
Okay.
I had to learn all these stuff like step by step to be
Yeah.
able to. And Alhamdulillah, now it's not only me. We're a group of 6 people right now working on
Mashallah.
this
That's
project.
amazing.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. So we have like We started with me and another one, and now we're a group of 6. Yeah.
So how did it grow to that point? I mean, you started off, as you mentioned, like, of course it was probably, like, you're giving me the high level view, but it was probably a journey that included many steps, and there was a lot of things that you needed to go through.
Yeah.
So uh, if I rewind to the beginning, and then we'll talk about how you got here and grew that company to, mashallah, to 6 people. So you initially had this idea of modest scrubs. Are you even someone who is a fashion designer? I'm guessing you didn't have any background in designing clothes, right?
No, I don't have any background in design, but
How did you do that? How did you overcome it?
because when you think about like how many Muslims are now living in these countries, like in North
Yeah.
America, like where we are right now, you can look at the other sectors like modest swimwear, modest activewear, modest wedding dresses, modest like evening gowns, and all these stuff. Like now, it's much easier than before. Before, I remember
Yeah.
my mother's, they like before they used to struggle a lot finding proper clothing,
Yeah.
but now all these sectors have been touched already, and there are so many active wear brands, swimwear brands, but the scrubs was not touched. So I always felt that there is a gap. Like there are so many scrubs brand, but no
Yeah.
one was like Muslim owned.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some, I don't know, but it was not branded. It was not
Right.
there on social media. There was no exposure for them on the internet, because I looked, I couldn't find for myself.
Yeah. Did you feel like it was when you got the idea? Because a lot of people get ideas, right? But
Yeah,
there's a difference between those who get ideas and actually execute on them, and those where the
yeah,
idea remains forever just an idea. What drove you to execute? And then, like you said, you're not even a fashion designer, so then you had to go and design clothes, and you had to go into this whole business, which is outside of your comfort zone. It's something completely new,
yeah.
and mashallah, and you've been able to do it successfully. What even drove you to that? Did you at any point in time hesitate or feel like you didn't have what it takes, or like you weren't good enough? Because a lot of people experience that when they're first launching a business.
Um, so the only thing with my business was actually there was no like database that I launched my business like after I have done like a research, because
Yeah.
there was no, as I told you, there was no community, there is
Yeah.
no like research that I could make. So it was all because of my personal need. And then I had like a couple of family members here and there, and then I asked them like, would you buy something like this? And they were like, oh my God, yes, for sure. We will do it. Like instead of wearing 2 tops, we will wear just one. And then the coverage that we desire, absolutely, we will go for it. It was a chance that I had to take,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
And what pushed you to take that chance? What made you feel like I could do this? Because a lot of people get these ideas and they don't. Do you feel like it was your belief in yourself? You had this
Yes, you
confidence,
have to
or
believe in yourself, and you have to, like, I'm known for the woman that doesn't know how to sit down. I'm
right?
always doing something. Either I'm at school or pregnant, or like I have to do something at some point. So I always like to push myself even more to learn more stuff. And then without this opportunity, how would I know like how to use social media, how to start a website? So I always felt like I want to learn more. I want to do more. Like
Yeah.
I want my business to, like, I didn't just want to launch a business. I wanted to do a change. Like anyone could do a business, like,
Yeah.
but there should be a certain message that you want to deliver to.
Yeah.
So this is what gave me the like the courage and the like the push to start, because I want Muslim women like me and other women who always wanted to be covered for any other reasons to be comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful mission to have. And I think when you have a purposeful mission that is grounded in, a higher purpose, then even if you hesitate, you don't feel like you're good enough, you don't feel like you have what it takes, you will push through those insecurities to be able to achieve it, because you want to achieve that higher purpose. So I want to ask you, what was it like to design and launch this modest medical wear? As we mentioned, for myself, let's say I wanted to go and design because it's not like you're saying, okay, I'm designing hijabs or like t-shirts where you could just say, hey, here's a print and just
Yeah.
do it. But you're actually creating a brand new product. Did you have to go and hire a designer, or did you design these clothes yourself?
No, no. I had a plan. Like I wanted to start with three tops. I wanted to have more like all the options available. So I started with a top that has no zipper, a top that has half zipper, and then a top that has a full zipper. So this is how I created like a small plan for myself. And then there are two types of pants. There's like the classic one, and then there
Yeah.
is the jogger one. So I
Yeah.
decided to go with both of them. And this is how we started. Like I started sketching some stuff.
Yeah.
My husband is a dentist, and this is where I got some of the experience about the fabrics, because I always like wash his clothes, I iron them, so I know which fabric looks nicer, which fabric can tolerate more heat or more like how many washes you can wash them
Right.
and without looking old.
Yeah.
So I had like a small idea of which fabric I want to go with, because as I said, like through 10 years we have experienced a lot of fabrics.
For sure.
Yeah, and this is how it all started. And then when I contacted the factories, they were super nice, that they were telling me just send us whatever you have on papers and we will make them like proper, they call it patrons, like digital images with numbers. And they were very helpful with that.
Oh, that's awesome. So the manufacturers actually helped you in terms of really getting those last like designs
Yes.
kind of systemized. That's really interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's really good to know for someone who is interested in creating their product. So you created something, mashallah, that's a great idea. And the challenge is for me as a business owner, when I look at this, and I was really curious to find out what was your
Yeah.
approach for this, is you created something that was a niche within a niche. And what that means is you
Yeah.
kind of created something that was, number one, it's already a niche. It's a medical wear brand. And
Yeah.
then number two, it's within that niche, it's medical wear brand, but for women who want to dress modestly, right?
Yeah.
So how did you go about launching this product and then getting it into the hands of the right people? Because there's no option on social media that says target like Muslim nurses, for example, or Muslim
Yeah.
dental hygienists. So what was your approach for getting the word out there and getting, getting some buzz around your product?
Okay, so there are like um I'm not agreeing with you, because for me I thought that this is an advantage for me,
Okay,
because
cool.
I
Yeah,
knew
let's
who
do
are
it.
my target audience, and this is
Yeah,
a big part of launching a business, because you
for
need to
sure.
know who are your targeted audience.
Yeah,
Once you
100%.
know who's gonna buy and use your product, that's like now you're gonna go to the next step.
Yeah.
For me, because in May we will be 1 year old. Okay, so during the first year, after buying the bulk and starting everything, I was only using free stuff. So I
Okay.
was on TikTok, on Reels, and then we were using hashtags. So this is what like TikTok and Instagram were one of like the biggest
Platforms.
sources that we used. The other thing was influencers. Influencers are amazing. We have amazing Muslim women in healthcare. Um, Even our customers. Sometimes, like a girl would buy our scrubs, send us pictures of her and them making videos, TikToks, and then they go, okay, you have a green light. Just do whatever you want to do with them. Just make your brand reach out to more people.
Amazing.
And this is how it went. Now, after 1 year, now we are more established. We will go to the next step, which is like Facebook ads and stuff, the paid advertisements.
Yeah.
That now we have built a good base for our brand. Now we can go to the next step.
For sure. So would you say that it was actually an advantage for you to be so clear with who your customer is, because you knew right away, this is who I need to target. This is my product. This is how I communicate with them. And
Yeah,
just
but you will be
yeah.
surprised too that even like when I say Muslim woman, because I am one of them, but so many of my customers are not Muslim. They're women that feel cold in the in the clinic and in the
Yeah.
hospital, because usually there are like air conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
They like some places, some women, they have tattoos or scars they want to
Mm-hmm.
cover. Or I remember when I was in school, two incidents happened in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
One time we were during like a very important assessment. One of my friends was working with her patient. When she bent down unintentionally, her back was uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
So she lost the whole assessment on that like session, because
Mm-hmm.
they call it like it is unprofessional to show skin in a place where skin shouldn't be exposed. So
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, oh my God, like she was working. Why would she be thinking about other stuff? Oh my God, am I like this part should be
Yeah. Taken
um,
care of.
taken care of.
Should be automatic. Yeah.
Yeah, another incident I remember, another friend of mine, she was a little bit, it was another intense day
Mm-hmm.
when my role that day was being the assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me, oh my God, Saad, please, every time you come like behind me, make sure that my back is covered. I don't want people to see my back. And then,
Mm-hmm.
so many stuff that happened during the 3 years of my school that kept telling me that this should be solved. And then when it was the right time,
Yeah.
when I told you it was COVID, I took that opportunity to work on this project.
Mm-hmm. And was there any time in your journey where you felt like, you had certain expectations about entrepreneurship or certain beliefs about entrepreneurship, and then once you embarked on the journey, you found like, oh well, it's completely different than what I expected. It's ended up being like a myth, or ended up being
Yeah,
like a
yeah. So
misconception.
there are two stuff that I believe the most, because before, when I used to see people like or influencers on social media, you think, wow, they have the perfect life.
Yeah.
They already have their business. They're married, but
Yeah.
it's not like that. It is really hard. It is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we launched May 1st last year. It was Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
I used to sleep at 12, wake up at suhoor, and then I had to work on the business until Maghrib. It
Right.
was, it's not easy.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of time and energy, but it is worth it,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah. But this was one of the things that I used to believe before, that everyone has a perfect life but me.
Right.
When I
For
came
sure.
into it, I realized that no, it is challenging.
Yeah,
The
they show the
other thing,
highlights, right? It's like they show the highlight reel. That's what you see on social
yes,
media, but you don't see like the hard work, the sleepless
you don't
nights.
see what's behind the scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
you only see the good image of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing was, I used to think that going viral on social media was easy, but
Yeah.
it's not. It
Yeah.
is not. It is like you have to have a strategy. Strategy is only like a small part of it. The biggest part of it is that you have to stay constant. Like you
Yes.
have to post every day,
Yeah.
every week, and then, because you never know which is the one that is gonna take you to the next step.
Yes. Correct.
Sometimes I work on a video that takes me hours on like changing the clothes, editing, but people don't find it attractive. Other videos that takes me like literally 2 minutes to do, okay, 500,000 views, So these
SubhanAllah.
are the two myths that
And then you have and then you have to like study like why did that one kick off? Why did the other one not? And then try to like learn like based on that, like what is it that your audience is looking for? What is it that they respond to? And it's a journey, right? It's like
it is a
you,
journey. Yeah.
as you mentioned, you have to be consistent. You have to keep trying and testing. And a lot of questions that I ask for sometimes for my students, like they ask me like, oh, I'm not getting enough engagement on my post. Am I doing something wrong? And it's like, no, you just haven't figured out yet what is it that your
Yes.
audience really responds to. And that's where you have to keep testing different ways of messaging, different ways of like it's not about like creating a different product. It's not about creating a different business. It's about how can I position this in a different way? How can I communicate this in a different way? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just the style of communication that needs to be
Yeah.
changed. So I want to ask you, for someone now, you're 1 year into your journey, mashallah, you've grown your team. What was that like for you? And what are the things that you've decided to hire for first? What are the things that you felt like you needed to delegate as soon as possible in your business?
As I told you, I don't have really like a good experience in dealing with social media platforms and website developing. So I started the base, and then when I wanted to take it to the next level, I had to hire um, professionals to because like the um, the competition is really high on social media.
Yeah.
So you need to have expertise working on your brand to make it look the best. Because there are some people on social media that are not super nice and might start throwing bad comments on you. So you want to avoid that. And alhamdulillah, I didn't experience that yet, but this is why I wanted um, to take it to the next level. And then I had to hire like marketing agency. I had to hire someone helping me with fixing the website, another one with SEO to get our website shown on when someone do like look for the scrubs. Yeah. And
So you really what you did is you took an honest look at what your skills were, what your
yes.
strengths were,
Yeah.
and you said, okay, this is what I can do. I can, be in charge of the vision, the products, what are the things that we're going to release, and the business in general, but maybe something like social media where I'm not an expert in, let me go and delegate that to someone who knows better. Someone like for websites, we need to get more traffic. Who
Yeah.
I know I'm not good at this. Can I delegate this to someone who can? And I think that's the key in business is really understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, and then focusing on your strengths and delegating your weaknesses. And I think just
Yeah.
remembering that as a principle, and then what are the things that I shine, where are the areas where I shine, or what are the things that I'm best at, and what are the things that I'm maybe not so great, and how can I find other people that are great, and then that's how
Yeah.
you kind of bring your business to the next level.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing that with us. So tell me, what are maybe three tips that you can give to someone who's thinking of launching their own product or their own business through the journey
Yeah,
that you've been on
sure.
so far?
So the first one, you need to know, you have to believe in your product first, and you have to know why would people buy your own product specifically. There are so many brands out there, so many. It is so easy now to start an e-commerce business, but you have to convince people. Like for me, what's special about our scrub is the modesty. So when I think of Hazel scrub, I wanted to think about like modesty. What would people think of when they are buying your product? The other thing is you have to know your targeted audience. I knew who I wanted to target. That made it much easier for me. Some people were telling me, oh, you should get short sleeves, you should get for men too, because you already have the website. Why don't you do that? But this is not how it is, because you
Yeah.
will have to market this stuff. You will have to have storage for inventory. You have to have like money to buy these stuff in bulk. Like I would rather spend my money on fixing my product, launching new colors, new designs, rather than adding more options that I need to give even more time and more space in my life.
And that takes a lot of discipline, like as an entrepreneur, to say no, to say, this is not part of
Yeah.
my what I set out to do, and this is not exactly that doesn't resonate with my target audience and who my brand is for. And so even though yes, it might be yes, it might generate me a little bit more profit, or it might have some upside, but ultimately it would dilute my
Yeah.
attention. It would distract me from my focus of
Yes,
making
that's
this
the
the best it can be.
Yeah. The third thing is that make sure that you have a message behind your brand. And like for me, I always wanted to have like a positive impact that people will think of me when they use my product. I have received millions of messages saying, thank you for solving this. Your scrubs look amazing. The quality is very nice. Your customer service is very good. And this is what makes me even go like give it more.
Yeah,
Yeah, so these are the main three keys like
that's
everyone
amazing.
should think about. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that because, you mentioned for the first one of getting clear on why, why a customer should buy your product versus another. And that's such an important question because a lot of people start businesses thinking, oh, this person's successful, let me copy exactly what they're doing. And it's like, that's not how it works. You have to create something that's unique, that's to you, and that, there's a reason why people buy you versus your competitor. Number two, and I love that you brought up this point of being very focused and saying no to distractions and really understanding like, who is my target customer? If I'm going to create this new product line, if I'm going to launch this new thing, is it going to be in line with my original mission? And then finally, as you mentioned, focusing on the impact and what is the higher purpose behind what you want to do. And I love that, mashallah. So can you share with us what is in store for Hazel Apparel in the future? Since we're on this topic right now, what is it that you plan to launch? Is there anything that we can expect from you in the coming months?
Yes, sure. So when I launched, like I wanted to test the market in the beginning for the idea of modest scrubs. So our tops were longer than what's available in the market, but they are not long enough to the like level of modesty that we wear outside.
Yeah.
Because I was not sure like how would people buy it, like would they buy it or no, would they wear it, like, or people will have some difficulty adapting and changing from what they used to wear before to this. But I was really surprised that the community that we have created have been asking us, we want it even longer, like now we're ready to go to the next step. So alhamdulillah, we're launching our longer version within like next month maximum.
Mashallah, awesome.
So yeah, and we still have a lot in mind, but we're gonna take it in steps so we can
For sure.
focus on each product and give it like the best value of it.
Definitely. No, and you seem like a very, mashallah, I mean, you've only been in business for a little over a year, but you seem like a very, I feel like I'm talking to a seasoned entrepreneur, based on your focus, your understanding of, strengths and weaknesses and delegating. And, there's a lot of little things here, but these are the little things that make all the difference. Mashallah. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you the success that you're looking for and really allow you to reach people from all over the world and help them dress more modestly while being successful in their careers. So one more question that I have for you is one that we ask every single guest. It's one of my favorite questions. And it's, if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, right, that can help her throughout her journey going through maybe being a dental hygienist and then eventually an entrepreneur and all these little adventures that you've been on, mashallah, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? You could tell her one thing, one piece of advice. What would it be for you?
Oh my God. Okay. When I was 18, it was the year that I was going to move to Canada. So at that point, I had a lot in my mind.
Right.
But I would tell the people at 18 to don't waste your time. Enjoy your life, but have a plan on your future, because this is the time when you will work a little bit harder, but in the future it will be easier for you. Like, don't say I'm still young. Okay, live your life, have fun, but be focused. Like, know what you want to do. Work hard on yourself, like study, start a business if you want. Don't say no, because life is short and then you need to enjoy it, but still use this time wisely, because this is the time where you have the most of the energy, like in your life.
And I would say, even like for someone listening to this who's like 30 or 40 or 50, I would give you the same advice. I would literally give you the same advice. Like, look, and I really love that you shared that. I would really say, look, this exact advice that you said, if you're just kind of moving along aimlessly in life right now and you're not sure what you want to do, well, do something. Like, take a pause for a moment and figure out really, where am I going, right? Am I just moving along day by day, living by stride, as they say, just taking it one step at a time, which is okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I mean, are you ultimately moving towards a higher goal? Are you living a purposeful life? Are you living a life with intention? Are you setting goals for yourself and trying to achieve those goals? And whether that's starting a business or doing something else, if you're listening to the podcast here, you're probably interested in starting a business, or you already have one. So what are the goals that you're setting for yourself, and how are you moving forward towards these goals? And what are you doing in your day-to-day to be able to achieve them, outside of Netflix and all these things that we do for fun and rest, but it's also important, as you mentioned, for us to put in the effort, put in the work. And the earlier you can get started, the better. But if you haven't started yet, it's never too late to start. So I appreciate you sharing that so much, Suaad, with us. How can people go and actually look at your products, purchase them, and follow you and support you on this journey?
Yeah, so we are on, you can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest. And our
Okay.
main selling point is our website.
Mm-hmm.
It's www.hazelgotyoucovered.com. And then we ship to Canada and USA every day, but we also ship worldwide. We have loyal customers from Italy, from the UK, from New Zealand, Switzerland. Alhamdulillah, it has been an incredible journey.
Amazing, mashallah. So I'm gonna make sure that we link this this website in the description wherever you're watching, whether on YouTube or on audio platforms. So go check out hazelgotyoucovered.com and go and look at these awesome scrubs that they have helped develop. I went on the website myself and I really like the designs because they're not only modest, but they're really stylish and they actually look really good. They look better than normal scrubs. So even if you're someone who isn't even a Muslim or who doesn't necessarily care about dressing modestly, but you probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you were. But still, just for the sake of fashion, like they're amazing. They're really beautiful. And I love that, is that you didn't just create a product and say, oh, it's modest and that's all it has to be, but you actually created something that actually looks really good. So mashallah, mabruk on that. It's a really nice product.
Thank
So
you.
awesome. So jazakallah khair for that and for joining us, Suaad. And you guys know the drill. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to leave us a rating and review on whatever platform you're listening on. And make sure to let us know how you enjoyed the podcast. And if you want to connect with Ummahpreneur, just search Ummahpreneur on any social media platform and you'll find us there. We're super active on Instagram, so go check us out there as well. And we'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi